Have you ever wondered how the clothes you wear are made? This seemingly simple question opens the door to a world of complexity and artistry, the world of cloth making. This process, which transforms individual fibers or yarns into the fabric we see and touch, is a fascinating journey of transformation. Cloth making is an intricate process involving several stages. It begins with the fibers, the building blocks of all fabrics. These fibers can be of natural origin, such as cotton plucked from cotton plants, wool sheared from sheep, silk harvested from the cocoons of silkworms, or linen derived from flax plants. On the other hand, they can be synthetic, born out of human innovation and technology, like polyester, nylon, or rayon, each with their unique properties and uses. After the fibers are procured, they are prepared and spun into yarns. The spinning process twists the fibers together, creating a continuous strand. This strand can be as thick or thin, as strong or delicate as desired, all controlled by the tension and twist during spinning. Next, these yarns are woven or knitted into fabric. Weaving interlaces the yarns at right angles to form a stable, non-stretchy fabric, while knitting loops the yarns together, creating a fabric with elasticity. Each method lends its unique character to the resulting fabric, affecting its texture, drape, and feel. The fabric then undergoes dyeing or printing to add color and design. Dyeing immerses the fabric in a colored solution, infusing it with vibrant hues, while printing applies colorants in specific patterns for a more intricate design. The final stage in cloth making is finishing. This process refines the fabric, enhancing its appearance, texture, and performance. It could involve treatments for brightness, strength, smoothness, or even special coatings to make the fabric waterproof, flame-resistant, or wrinkle-free. So you see, cloth making is not just a process, but a journey. A transformation from raw materials to the final product. It's a blend of science and art, tradition and innovation, all coming together to create the fabric of our lives. Now let's delve deeper into each of these stages, starting with fiber preparation. The first step in cloth making is preparing the fibers. Picture a field of cotton or a flock of sheep. These natural fibers are harvested, the raw material plucked from nature's bounty. But before they're ready for use, they must be cleaned and carded. This process removes any impurities and aligns the fibers, preparing them for their transformation into fabric. For synthetic fibers, the preparation process is a bit different. Instead of fields and flocks, think of factories and laboratories. Raw materials like petroleum or cellulose undergo complex chemical processes to be transformed into fibers. Whether through spinning or extrusion, these materials are manipulated and shaped, emerging as the synthetic fibers we know and use in our everyday lives. Each type of fiber, whether natural or synthetic, requires its own unique preparation. But the goal remains the same: to create a material that's ready for the next stage of the cloth-making process. Once the fibers are prepared, they are ready to be spun into yarns. Spinning is the process of twisting the fibers together to create a continuous strand. This intriguing step in cloth making plays a crucial role in determining the quality of the final product. Think of it as the bridge between raw fibers and the yarn that will eventually become the fabric we use. The spinning process varies depending on the type of fiber. For natural fibers like cotton or wool, a spinning wheel is often used. Picture a classic fairy tale setting with a wooden wheel turning, and raw fibers magically transforming into beautiful yarn. For synthetic fibers and in large-scale production of both natural and synthetic yarns, industrial spinning machines take center stage. These machines can process large quantities of fibers quickly and efficiently, spinning them into consistent, high-quality yarn. During spinning, the thickness and strength of the yarn can be controlled. By adjusting factors such as tension and twist, spinners can create yarn with specific properties to suit different purposes. After the yarn is spun, it is ready to be woven or knitted into fabric. Weaving and knitting are the methods by which yarn is transformed into fabric. This magical transformation is a fascinating process, where the spun yarn assumes a new life, evolving into something beautiful and useful. Let's start with weaving. In this process, two distinct sets of yarn or thread, known as the warp and the weft, cross each other at right angles. The warp threads run lengthwise, while the weft threads run across. They interlace with each other, forming a crisscross pattern that eventually creates a stable fabric. This work of art can be done by hand, where a weaver skillfully manipulates the threads on a loom, or by machines in a more industrial setting. Now, if we talk about knitting, it's a bit different from weaving. Here the yarn is looped together, forming a series of interconnected loops, which ultimately results in a stretchy fabric. knitting can be done by hand, where each stitch is manually created using knitting needles or by knitting machines, which can produce a wide range of knitted fabrics at a much faster pace. So, you may wonder, what's the difference between woven and knitted fabric? Well, woven fabrics are generally more stable and less stretchy than knitted fabrics. They hold their shape well and are often used for items like shirts, trousers, or upholstery. On the other hand, knitted fabrics are stretchy and flexible, making them ideal for items that need to have some give, like sweaters or socks. But whether it's a woven masterpiece or a knitted wonder, each fabric carries the tale of its creation, the story of its transformation from a mere thread to a piece of cloth that could become a part of our everyday life. Now, creating the fabric is just half the story. The next step is all about adding some personality to it. Once the fabric is woven or knitted, it is often dyed or printed to add color and design. This is where the fabric truly gets to show its colors, literally and figuratively. But more on that in the next chapter of our cloth-making journey. Dyeing and printing are used to add color and design to the fabric. Now that we have our fabric, it's time to give it some personality. The processes of dyeing and printing are techniques used to infuse color and pattern into our previously plain piece of fabric. They're the artists of the textile world, turning a blank canvas into a vibrant piece of cloth. And they can be applied at various stages of the cloth-making process depending on the desired outcome. Take dyeing, for instance. This process involves immersing the fabric in a colored solution. It's the equivalent of taking a bath, but instead of water and soap, we're using dye and heat. The fabric soaks up the color, and voila, your once white cotton is now a brilliant blue or a radiant red. Then there's the process of printing, which is a little more intricate. Instead of an all-over color bath, printing involves applying colorants in specific patterns. Imagine it like painting by numbers, but instead of a paintbrush, you're using techniques such as screen printing or digital printing. Screen printing, for instance, uses a mesh to transfer ink onto a surface, except the ink is blocked in certain areas by a stencil to create a pattern. Digital printing, on the other hand, is like your home printer but on a larger scale, applying the ink directly onto the fabric to create detailed and complex designs. Whether you're going for a solid block of color or a detailed pattern, these processes can be adjusted to fit the desired look. The color or pattern is not just an afterthought but an integral part of the fabric's identity. It can make the difference between a casual cotton tee and a luxurious silk scarf. Dyeing and printing breathe life into the fabric, transforming it from a simple piece of cloth into a work of art. They're the final touches that make our fabric unique, ready to be turned into the clothes we wear, the curtains we hang, or the upholstery we sit on. The final step in cloth making is finishing the fabric. Finishing involves processes to improve the appearance, texture, and performance of the fabric. Let's delve into this final but crucial step in the cloth making process. First off, we have bleaching. This process is all about enhancing the brightness of the fabric, making it appear clean and fresh. Next, we have sizing. This is the application of substances to enhance the strength and smoothness of the fabric. Then comes mercerizing, a treatment that increases the fabric's luster and affinity for dye. Calendaring, on the other hand, is a mechanical process where the fabric is pressed between heated rollers to give it a glossy, smooth finish. But the finishing process doesn't stop here. It can also involve adding specific coatings or treatments. Imagine making your fabric waterproof, flame-resistant, or even wrinkle-free. These are no magic tricks, but the result of careful, meticulous finishing processes. And with that, we come to the end of the cloth-making process. In conclusion, cloth-making is a complex and fascinating process. It's a voyage that begins with the preparation of fibers, whether they're plucked from a cotton plant or synthesized in a lab. These fibers are then spun into yarn, a process that involves twisting and intertwining to create a continuous strand. This yarn, now ready and eager, is woven or knitted into fabric, each method offering its own unique texture and properties. Then comes the transformation, the dyeing or printing, where the fabric is imbued with vibrant colors and intricate designs, truly bringing it to life. And finally, the finishing touches are added, enhancing the fabric's appearance, texture, and performance. Each stage, each process, is a testament to the marvelous blend of artistry and science that is cloth making. So, let's appreciate not just the final product, but the journey it takes to get there. Whether it's through traditional handcrafting techniques or modern industrial processes, cloth making continues to be an essential aspect of human civilization, providing us with the fabrics we use in our everyday lives.